Atieno walked through the school hallways with her head down. Being at home didn't make things better. Her father was always distant, focused on his work of serving the Lord in ministry. He was always in this meeting or that service and had no time for his daughter's silent cry for help. I just want him to notice me, to talk to me for even a little bit. I would try to talk to him, my heart beating fast with hope and fear.
Not now, Atieno. I have a service to prepare for.
Her father, lost in his own world, would brush Atieno aside. His voice is empty, like he didn't care. Her mother, a powerful and busy woman of God, was just as unavailable. Meetings and conferences filled her days. Her phone was always in her hand. I wish she would just hold me, talk to me in her soothing voice.
Not now, Atieno. Mommy is busy.
Even though they didn't say it directly, their rejection felt like a slap in the face.
School felt like a battlefield where Atieno was losing the fight. Even surrounded by the noise of her classmates, she felt alone. Their laughter and friendships only made her feel more isolated.
It was like there was an invisible wall between me and everyone else, making me feel even more different.
Lunchtime was the worst. While everyone sat and ate together, Atieno sat by herself. She ate quickly, staring at her plate, trying to avoid the judgmental looks from her classmates. The cafeteria, a place where people were supposed to connect, just reminded her of her loneliness.
Even in the crowded hallways, I felt invisible. People bumped into me without even looking, their faces blank. No one asked if I was okay. No one seemed to notice the silent tears rolling down my face.
Atieno was lost in a sea of faces, but none of them knew her pain. Loneliness became Atieno's constant companion. It was like a shadow, whispering doubts and fears in her ear. The world, once full of color, for her turned gray. Hope, which had been a small flame inside her, grew weaker each passing day.
The darkness that had always been at the edge of my mind started to take over, threatening to consume me. Sleep offered no escape. Nightmares filled with my own insecurities haunted me. I would wake up covered in sweat, my heart racing. I couldn't tell what was real and what was a nightmare anymore. I felt myself sleeping, losing my mind a little more each day.
The weight of her sadness became too much to bear. Atieno felt like a tiny boat in a huge storm. She desperately searched for something to hold on to, but there was nothing.
I was alone, drowning in sadness, and I did not know how to swim.
One evening, a tiny bit of hope appeared. Her mother was home, which was unusual.
Mom, can we talk?
Atieno saw a chance, a vast lifeline in the ocean of her despair. She found her courage, her heart pounding in her chest.
Mom, can we talk?
But her mother was glued to her phone, her forehead wrinkled with concentration.
Not now, Atieno. I have an important call to make.
Atieno's heart sank. The tiny bit of hope disappeared, leaving only emptiness and despair. She went back to her room feeling trapped. The weight of her loneliness, the pain of rejection, the feeling of being invisible, all became too much. A single thought took root in her mind, a dangerous idea born from her despair. If no one else could help her, maybe she could help herself.
That night, as the world went dark, Atieno made a decision. It wasn't really a choice, not really. It was like her body moved on its own, driven by a force she couldn't control. A force fueled by her pain, her loneliness, her desperate need for an escape. She didn't leave a note, no explanation for what she did, only a deafening silence echoing through the empty house. A silence that spoke volumes about the pain she had endured. The cries for help that had gone unanswered. The world kept spinning. unaware of the tragedy that had happened. The sun rose, casting shadows on a world that no longer had Atieno in it. As the day began, her absence was like a bomb exploding, shattering the illusion of normalcy that had hidden her pain.
Atieno's funeral was a sad event. People gathered, their faces filled with grief and disbelief. They spoke of her quietly. Their words were filled with regret and what ifs. Her classmates, who never noticed her before, now cried at her grave. Their sadness, though real, felt empty compared to their indifference when she was alive. Her parents, once too busy for their daughter, were now drowning in sadness. Her father, his face etched with pain, stood by her grave, his shoulders heavy with remorse. The ministry he had been so busy with meant nothing now. It was just a distant memory. Her mother, once so strong, was now broken. All those meetings and conferences seemed pointless, her ambition meaningless compared to the loss of her daughter. She clung to her husband, her tears a mixture of guilt and regret. The phone that once consumed her was forgotten in her purse, a symbol of her misplaced priorities. Alone in his study, Atieno's father finally broke down. He sank into his chair, his body shaking with sobs. The weight of his daughter's death crushed him, suffocating him with its finality. He had failed her, failed to see the pain beneath the quiet surface. He picked up a framed photo of Atieno, her smile bright with her eyes full of life. It was a painful reminder of everything he had lost, everything he could never get back. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm so sorry, my little girl." But his apologies were carried away by the wind. Atieno was gone. Nothing could bring her back. He was left to live with the consequences of his neglect. He had played a part in his daughter's death.
Atieno's story is a tragic reminder to make time for the people we love. Life gets busy, and it is easy to get caught up in our own goals. We put work and a mission before the needs of our loved ones, but ignoring them, failing to see their silent cries for help, can have terrible consequences. Atieno's death should make us think, remind us that life is precious and short. We must cherish the time we have with our loved ones, listen to what they don't say, and give them the love and support they need. Sometimes a simple hug, a listening ear, a moment of our undivided attention can make all the difference. Let Atieno's story be a reason to change. Let's honor her memory by making the decision to put our loved ones first, be present in their lives, and give them the unwavering love and support they need. In the end, it is the connections we make, the love we share, that truly matter.
Ni hayo tu.